She walked into her ex-fiancé's wedding with a homeless man on her arm. People laughed. People whispered. No one knew the man beside her was about to change everything. The doors of the cathedral opened. The room shifted. Not loudly, not all at once, but in that subtle way where tension turns before people realize they are staring, guests in tailored suits and flowing, dresses paused mid-conversation, heads turned, smiles froze. A ripple of confusion moved through the polished space like a quiet shockwave, because walking down the aisle was not the woman they expected to see, and certainly not the man beside her. She wore a simple, elegant dress, not white, not dramatic, just calm, controlled. Her posture was straight, her expression unreadable. This was Evelyn Monroe, the woman who should have been standing at the altar today. The billionaire heiress. The ex-fiancé, and on her arm, was a man in a clean but worn suit. His shoes scuffed, his hair neatly trimmed but still rough around the edges. His eyes carried the weight of someone who had lived outside the margins for a long time. Homeless man. Whispers spread fast. Is that who I think it is? Is this a joke? Has she lost her mind? Evelyn did not slow her pace. The groom at the altar stiffened when he saw her. His smile faltered. His bride glanced sideways, confusion flashing across her face. Evelyn took a seat near the front, her guest settling beside her with quiet grace. No one knew his name yet, no. One knew why he was there, and no one guessed that by the end of the ceremony. The room would never feel the same again, only hours earlier. Evelyn had been standing in a very different place. The city was cold that morning, the kind of cold that seeped into stone and skin alike. Traffic moved in restless streams. Glass towers reflected a gray sky that promised nothing. Evelyn stood at a street corner, her coat pulled tight, watching people hurry past. She could have been in a chauffeured car. She could have been anywhere else, but she was here. She had come out walking to quiet her thoughts. Weddings had a way of dragging up old ghosts. This one more than most. That was when she noticed him. He sat on the sidewalk near a closed cafe. Back against the brick wall, hands wrapped around a paper cup. His beard was uneven, his coat too thin for the weather, but his posture was dignified, as if pride still lived somewhere deep inside him. Most people passed without looking. Evelyn stopped, not out of pity. Out of recognition, she knew that posture. She had seen it before, long ago, in photographs hidden in her father's study. Men who had lost everything but refused to lose themselves. She offered him coffee. He accepted with a nod, not surprise, not gratitude loud enough to perform. They spoke. Not much at first. Small things. Weather, the city, how loud mornings had become. His name was Daniel Reed. He did not ask who she was. He did not ask for money. That alone unsettled her. As they talked, Evelyn felt something loosen inside her chest. A tension she had carried for months, ever since the engagement ended. Her ex-fiancé had not broken things off loudly. He had done it politely, strategically. He had said it was about timing, about expectations, about how her independence made him feel unnecessary. He had chosen someone easier. Daniel listened as Evelyn spoke, eyes steady, offering no judgment. Sometimes people leave not because you are too much, he said quietly, but because they are not enough. The words landed heavier than she expected. Evelyn looked at him then, really looked, and saw intelligence behind the tired eyes. Pain, yes, but also clarity, an idea formed. Not reckless, not cruel, intentional. She invited him to a wedding. He raised an eyebrow, almost amused. Mine, she said simply. Well, the one I was supposed to have. Daniel studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded. Only if I can shower first. Evelyn smiled. By the time they arrived at the cathedral, Daniel was transformed. Not into someone else. Into himself, restored. Clean clothes, fresh shave, shoes polished as best they could be. He looked like a man who'd once belonged in rooms like this. Evelyn belonged in every room. But today, She wanted to bring someone the room would underestimate. The ceremony began. Music filled the space. Vows were spoken. Smiles returned, though strained in places. Evelyn watched calmly. She did not glare. She did not cry. Daniel sat beside her, hands folded, listening when the officiant asked if anyone had reason to object. The room held its breath. No one spoke. The moment passed. People relaxed. Too soon, after the ceremony, guests moved toward the reception hall. Laughter picked up. Champagne glasses clinked. That was when Daniel stood. He did not announce himself. He did not raise his voice. He simply walked forward. Evelyn remained seated. Eyes followed him. Confused, curious, dismissive. The groom frowned. Daniel stopped near the front of the room and turned slowly, taking in the crowd. "I was not invited," he began calmly. "But I was asked to be here." Murmurs spread. Daniel continued, his voice steady, unshaken by the wealth and judgment surrounding him. "I know what it is like to be unseen in rooms like this. I also know what it is like to build something from nothing, only to have it taken away." The room quieted. Daniel spoke of starting a company once, of trusting the wrong people, of losing everything when legal battles and betrayals piled up faster than he could fight them. Some faces in the crowd stiffened because some of them recognized the story. Daniel named no names. He did not need to. "Years ago," he said, "a young woman believed in me when no one else did. She believed in integrity more than appearances." Evelyn felt her throat tighten. Daniel turned slightly toward her. "Not fully, just enough. She did not save me," he said. "She reminded me who I was." He looked back at the crowd. "Today you celebrate a union built on comfort. That is your choice. But do not mistake comfort for character." Silence settled heavy and complete. Then Daniel did something no one expected. He reached into his pocket and placed a folded document on the nearest table. "That paper represents the last shares I held in a company I founded," he said. "Shares I lost. Shares someone in this room now profits from." The groom's face drained of color. Daniel did not look at him. "I signed him over this morning," Daniel said. "To her?" He nodded toward Evelyn. Gasps rippled. Evelyn, he stood, her heels echoed softly against the marble floor as she joined Daniel. She took the document. Hands steady. "This man," she said, "was my guest today. Not because he needed saving, but because he deserved to be seen." She turned toward her ex-fiancé, who once said, "My standards were unrealistic. That my values made life harder." She gestured gently toward Daniel. "This man lost everything and kept his integrity. You had everything and still asked me to make myself smaller." No anger colored her voice, only truth. The bride shifted uncomfortably. Guests avoided eye contact. Evelyn smiled softly. Daniel leaned closer and said something only she could hear. "Now you walk." Out they left together. Behind them, the room buzzed with stunned whispers. Conversations erupted. The groom stood frozen, exposed in a way no argument could have managed outside. The air felt lighter. Daniel exhaled slowly. "I hope that was not too much," he said. Evelyn shook her head. It was exactly enough. Weeks later, the story spread. Not as gossip, but as legend. A homeless man. A billionaire heiress. A wedding undone by quiet truth. Evelyn honored her promise. She funded Daniel's legal fight to reclaim what was taken from him, not as charity, but as partnership. Daniel returned to the world not as someone rescued, but as someone restored, and Evelyn learned something too. That dignity recognizes dignity. That sometimes the most powerful statement is not revenge, but alignment. If this story moved you, comment where you are watching from. Share your thoughts on dignity, respect, and quiet strength. And subscribe for more cinematic stories about unexpected justice and unseen heroes.